Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Now you are going to be seeing a very interesting video on the bottom of this in the response section. I do request that anyone who watches this video please watch it. Now, on to the meaning of this video, The Mist, coming out this Tuesday. Now, this stars Thomas Jane. Some of you might remember him from smaller roles from, say, I think it was Boogie Nights, Deep Blue Sea, Stander, it was called Stander, sorry. I believe he also was the star of that film. He's had minor roles here and there. In fact, he even had a role on Buffy the Vampire Slayer many years ago. But he really made a name for himself playing the role of the Punisher Frank Castle. That was a phenomenal film. Even though it didn't do well in theaters, it was one of the best-selling DVDs ever, matching even Star Wars. It really proved that DVD was the thing, and that straight-to-DVD could be highly successful, which it actually has. There's been a lot of straight-to-DVD stuff, such as the Clerks cartoon, which has sold very well on DVD. Well, Thomas Jane comes at us again in this new film called The Mist, based off the book by Stephen King. I just got done watching this about an hour ago, and what did I think of it? I thought that this was a generally good film. I mean, it was interesting. I mean, you know, the special effects aren't going to win anything special, but, you know, it's very interesting. It's very Stephen King in that, you know, it's very science fiction-y, and once you get into it, some of the characters, I mean, it does kind of hop all over the place with some of the characters. Some of them you really will love. Some of them you really will hate. Some of them you'll be glad to see die. Now, they did change some aspects of the book, as everything else generally does. By the end of it, I think that you will really love this film. However, there was one thing that bothered me, and that was the ending of the film. Now, I'm not going to give it away. I'm just going to say this. In the book, and this is the book's ending, this is not the film's ending, in the book, they drive off further into the mist, believing that the mist has completely engulfed Maine. And they just drive off into some unknown future. Okay? Come on. No closure in that book whatsoever. I mean, if I was to read that book, and that was the last page, I just looked up and screamed, "What the fuck was that?" I mean, you know, Kevin Smith did, what was it, for iRobot. In one of his movies, he gave a review for iRobot. It's like a woman giving you a blowjob, and then just jerking you off at the end. It's like, come on. You know, you just kind of go, what the fuck? What the hell's up with that? You don't I mean, it just sucked. Now, the ending of the movie is very different, and I won't say what it is. It does give a certain amount of closure, and it's rather ironic. But, you know, it's just one of those endings where you just go, why make that ending? Why? I mean, it's just, ugh. You know, if I was Thomas Jane and I was sitting in that Jeep and say, okay, this is how we're going to play out the ending, I would sat there and go, no. The fuck? What kind of ending is that? You know, you paint them out to be, you know, you paint him out to be a leader, you know, strong, and he turns out to be a fucking wuss who takes it and who tries to take an easy way out. Oh God. Visual effects were amazing. The character designs were very, very good. Stephen King often puts a lot of input on stuff based off of his books, and this was no different. He really had a lot of input in it and helping design the creatures. Now, let me try to explain the story for you. It takes place in Maine, off of a small lake. Thomas Jane, he has a wife, a small child. He is an artist. He does paintings, you know, that kind of just like go up in like stores. You know, if you like walk into some building, some, you know, massive building, you'll see like a paint on the wall. He does those. And there's a big storm one night, and you know, he has to go to the market to get a few things. Yeah, well, it doesn't turn out very well. When he wakes up that morning, he sees some mist down over on the lake. Now, this could be anything, something left over from a storm. It could be, some weird winds, something like that. He doesn't know. I mean, and who would? You live out on a lake. Mist is, generally common. Well, as he gets into town, he starts seeing signs that something's not right. There's cop cars going by, there's fire trucks. And then all of a sudden, you start, they see a man running, his nose is bleeding. Well, pretty much they all get caught in a store. And that is when you start to see the factions build. The first faction is led by Thomas Jane. He is pretty much a rational man. A man who really sees what's going on. Next up is his next door neighbor, who has had legal problems with Thomas Jane in the past. And he says that this is just Thomas trying to get to him. Now, I use the actors' names because I can't honestly remember for the life of me the character names. But he says that Jane is full of shit and he's wanting to lead people out of the store. Even after someone has already died right in front of Thomas and he's presenting evidence that there's something out there, he still says that Thomas is full of shit and he's going to walk out. Yeah, well. Then there's the third group, the religious one. This woman, this nut, who believes the mist is death. That this is God's will. Some bullshit from like Revelations 15 about the temple being filled in a mist and yada yada yada. There's a part where one of the creatures has a chance to kill her and it doesn't. And 2 people die that night and her little congregation starts to grow. Normally I won't do spoilers for film, but I will say that she does die. And I say thank fucking God. Honestly, I think that these films are starting to go against the church. Because, if you think about Silent Hill. In that film, the whole reason that so many people died and that there was so much suffering in Silent Hill was because of religious nuts. And several people die in this film because of her. It just kind of makes me think that, maybe Hollywood has something out against, die-hard religious nuts, which, if you think about it, she did give ample reason for people to believe her. She said that they would come at night. She said people would die. One of them didn't kill her when it could have landed right on her chest. It could have killed her like that. All it would have taken was a second. And she still lived. I don't know. I probably would have stuck by Thomas. Because, he was more of a rationale. He tried to help people. She was willing just to sit down there and sacrifice people around her. It's for the will of God? Come on. But, I have to say that, overall, I just thought the film was very good. It's very interesting. It has 3 different viewpoints. You do stand by Thomas Jane's character. Through most of it, he's the main character. But you can understand, the black guy, his neighbor, you can understand why he might not believe Thomas. And then you can also believe the religious nut. She's wound up in her Bible. She believes that she's right. And, there is evidence to support it. She says that this is based upon the 7 plagues, and well, there's a swarm of something out there, a swarm of insect-like creatures. There's a mist, which states in Revelations that there's apparently supposed to be a mist that comes through the temple. And one of them doesn't kill her, maybe she was right, maybe she wasn't. Now, here it is, 1 to 10 scale. What does this movie get? 10, of course, being Star Wars, 1 being Southland Tales. No, 0 being Southland Tales, 1 being The Grudge 2. This film gets a 6. Now, it gets that rating mainly because, there's a lot of good points in it. But at the end, you're going to get the same reaction you're going to get if you read the book. You're going to look up and say, what the fuck was that? It's just the wrong ending he could have taken. I definitely would have written it somewhere like that. Maybe kill off a character or 2. But I would not have ended it exactly that way. I just wouldn't have. Well, my review for The Mist. 6 out of 10. A must rent. I've already heard a lot of people say they liked it. Some of them say they hated it. I think it's at least worth renting. My mother has yet to see it. I have yet to gather her opinion on it. But hey, you know what? Just at least rent it. I mean, what? It's $4.60 at Blockbuster. It's $4.06. If you have a movie pass or something, it'd be free. So yeah, just go ahead and rent it. Won't kill you. It shouldn't, anyways. Take care. See you around.